Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a nice-ish looking rack. I do have duplicates, but it looks close to a bingo. Could there be a 7 here? Not that I can see. So let me get the H doubled. 24. Fantastic. I draw the first blank, and this looks pretty bingo-y. So what do I have? I don't have an E or an S. I've got a duplicate T. I've also got a U. So it's not the best rack, but I feel confident there's going to be something here. I would have subtotal through an S or a B. Opponent provides no new floaters. Mulatto with the blank as an M, I think, is a removed word. So there's floating O and H. What about the O? I've got the out prefix, and that's the main prefix I'm seeing with lat and blank. And I've also got auto. But is there anything with the O? Toluate is a 7, but Rax takes nothing either side, so I don't think there are any 7-letter lanes on the board. Just looking at this N, almost to rule it out, it would have to be a word ending EN, or a word beginning NU or NI. No, not seeing one. So, floating O, I've drawn a blank. What about the H? Wow. So, out with ALTH. I'm going to run through the alphabet and see if anything comes to mind. Well, let me just mention, I think I've got Outlast, and Honan's is good. I get 8 points for Honan. Just wondering if it's worth my while looking for a better bingo. Let me have a very quick squiz. This rack plus an H or an O. Not seeing anything so far. E always useful. It is worth spending time at the beginning of a game because opening moves are so influential. Close to although. So this rack plus an H or an O. The un prefix. H and O. Well, I've got the U for the Q. That's Outlast as a 7. LY ending. No, I've only seen Outlast, so let me get it down. And I draw the Q with the U. That's good news. It's not as positive as I thought it was. I think in the last video I estimated QU to be worth +8, but it's only worth +2 or 3. Wow, I was looking to see if I had key in column 8, was spelt with an A or an E, but both of them fail because of this O. AO not good, and nor is EO. Just revisiting racks in case I've overlooked a front hook, but I don't think I have. Now there's the U of Outlast. I could stick my Q in front. Can I reach the double word square? I don't think I can. Oh, wow. Fantastic bingo for opponent in scroll. And super hotness in row K because in scroll takes an S. And what a shame about key not playing because column 8 remains available. My I can go to the left of the O, but I can't play the Q in that spot. I can't get the Q tripled here. So QUA, and the story ends. Wow, so many tempting triple letter squares, but I can't see a way of landing the Q on any of them. I have QI in column 10, but I don't really want to retain U and Y. What about playing in row J? I have Quale, which has some merit. It may obstruct opponent putting an S on the end of in scroll. Rack leave isn't terrible. 36 points is decent. What about a play in row D? Yeah, I'm using this with the same tiles. This is 36. I could do this for 48. And this for 56. I'm going with Queenie for 56. Wow. And I don't hit an S. But look at this. If opponent plays in that spot, I've drawn a U for the Q. So I've got Quickie in column 1. I'm close to having Wiki up. Just the A as an errant tile. At first blush, this rack looks awful. But I think there are a lot of opportunities of getting rid of these scoring tiles. For example, Wacky would get rid of all 4 of them. Wow, and the 2 hotspots remain available. So Quickie is good. It's 72 points. I'm turning over tiles, which increases my chances of drawing an S for in scrolls. Rack leave isn't terrible. The W is a scoring tile, and a vowel will help me to play it. But is there anything better than Quickie? 72 points is pretty decent, so I think it's unlikely. Still no S. Through an I would have awaiting. Unlikely for one of those to appear. So, well, I have this ing ending, but apart from awaiting, I'm not seeing anything else. Well, I guess I can play in scrolling. Rack leave isn't terrible, AATW. I'm taking out the hotness. I do have a lead to preserve. Still 3 S's to come. So, is that the play? Well, it partly depends on if it remains available. Both blanks have gone. Okay. Oh, look at this. Opponent has sweetened the pot. An S can no longer go after in scroll, but my I still can. So this is 36 points. I don't have to play here. The strategic reason for playing here was to reduce opponents' prospects of putting an S after in scroll, but those have been vanished by opponent themselves. But this move still has merit based on score and rack leave. So is there any score and rack leave argument for an alternative play? This is, well, there might be. This is 36 points. 29 points. Yeah, only 7 points difference. Now, has this been removed? Fatwaing, it definitely used to be good. And it's good. Unbelievable. Fantastic. I'm sure, wow, I just saw that, but I'm sure fatwaing or an alternative spelling of it was good and then wasn't good. Maybe it's come back again. Good grief. That very nearly eluded me. And what a reward. Look at this. I have treater and retreat. I have pre-treat in row A. Fantastic. So everything's looking pretty swimming at the moment, especially with both blanks gone. I lead by 150. I'm on the brink of putting down another bingo. But what if row A is blocked? Do I have an alternative bingo? It's not the absolute greatest rack. Well, no need to worry about that, because I have pre-treat for 83. Bang! And what a crazy pick. I've drawn Janizar, which takes an S and a Y at the end. But surely there's nowhere for it. Well, there isn't at the moment. Maybe opponent will oblige. Well, I lead by 220 odd points. I can't think of any alternative 7s or 8s with these letters other than those mentioned. But look at this A of fatwaring. I can play Jar or Zar in that spot, keeping a really good rack leave. And poor opponent with U's and V's. Now, am I sure there isn't a Janizar spot? Oh, an opponent sticks an S in the open, but not one which I can use for Janizar's 87 points. So, opponent, well, they trail by 150. Still 25 tiles to come. Rayo is a triple lane, and there are I's and O's for ISO words. So is this the... Oh, ZA, not ZO. ZA for 64. Alternatives to that, I could play Jai. 47. Taking out the triple danger. But I may not get my Z. I may not get my Z tripled next turn, but there's this Yes spot. And let me count the remaining vowels. 15 out of 32, so it's a balanced bag, and I've got one vowel. And there are vowels on the board. I think J for 47. Wow, is this overly cautious? Supposing opponent gets 140 for a triple, they'll be on 380. I'd still lead by a bingo. What about doing Jar in this spot? This rack leave goes well with ease. I could have Triazine next turn. If I drew an I and an E, I'm retaining a Z for Yes, so I've got ZA in that spot. Yeah, I am going... Wow, I'm sacrificing quite a few points here. But I think the Z is a much better tile than the J, certainly a lot more bingo-y. I could stick an I on the end, but I think the I helps this rack. It contributes towards Triazine. I'm going with this. Wow, close, but I draw one of the two tiles I want, but I didn't want the F. I would have Franzia through an R, I think. So what to do here? If I can play off F and Z, the remaining tiles are bingo-y, so I could play Fez through the E of Queenie. His opponent about to lay down a double-double, a triple rather. I don't think it's going to be enough, unless they get a really big tile doubled. 18 points. Okay, so I could play Rons. 46 points. What about Fez? 30 points, keeping an amazing rack lead with a floating R and T. There's also the ING possibility in column 12. There's also row O, which goes extremely well with this rack leave. This is really tempting. But is it sacrificing too many points? 9 minutes on my clock, 14 on opponents. I think Fez, I like the rack leave. There are a lot of E's to come, but if I play here for 50, I'm not burning the Z. 20-point sacrifice is too much. Do I have anything in row O? No. Let me come back to Ron's. 46 points. I could have a horrible rack next turn. I was just thinking about Zin for 53. Tricky. And it's purely luck as to what I draw from the bag. So whatever I play, I could make a draw which produces an amazing result, or I could draw tiles which would have been amazing with an alternative play. So nothing is going to be proved by what I draw. It would be nice to play off the Z and the F. I can't do that in column 4. I lead by a lot. I'm really drawn to this rack leave. I am going with Fez for 30. And I duplicate tiles on my rack. Do I have a bingo? Not seeing anything at the top. I have Rainier on my rack. I have Brainier in row. Oh, good grief. What a crazy game. I don't have a 9-letter play with S and B, but I do have Brainier. Is that best? Surely it is. Even if I had a column 15 play, it's not going to be as good as this. So Brainier for 80. And 7 tiles in the bag, pretty bingo-y. I think my run of bingos has ended, but it's not a terrible rack. Just looking at the floating consonants, in case I have a 5-vowel 8. I'm not seeing one. Interesting, opponent played the B, which could have gone in front of ovoid. Maybe they didn't have the vowels for column 1. So my lead now, 250 points. So what am I going to do here? I guess that's going to depend on how many tiles are in the bag. Well, there are 5. So, wow, and they're all bingo-y tiles. 6 minutes on my clock. 2 Ds to come. Just wondering about playing D and 2 O's. 5 vowels left out of 12. Opponent playing just 2 tiles surely didn't retain 5 consonants. Row F is a bingo lane. So where can I drop the D or the O's for a decent score? Only an I goes under jar. I don't have anything to go in front of the U. 6 minutes on my clock. I could play just DO, but that's taking out a bingo-y floater. And my rack leave is very non-bingo-y with 4 vowels. What about playing just 2 O's somewhere? Zo's is good, but I can't play off 2 O's in that spot. Well, I can down here. 14 points. Yeah, and this does give me a possibility of a bingo, especially down from this R. And I'm not seeing anywhere to play off more tiles. I am going with this. And I draw 2 vowels, which is a shame. I think that means no more bingos for me. But I've had a few this game. 4, in fact. Gosh, only 3 vowels in the remaining pool. And, well, opponent plays off just 2 tiles. SH takes an A and an E. 1 tile in the bag. I don't think I have a bingo. Let me be sure of that. 4 minutes on my clock. Anything with the L? No. Anything with the T? No. R? That's the closest, but I'm not seeing anything. R and A? No. Okay, so what do I have in column 15? I have idiot, but that doesn't get tripled. I was looking to get the D doubled, but I can't see a way of doing that. I can play E-Day for 24, keeping T. Is this the play? Do I have anything which is 1 tile longer? Then it would be easier to play off 3 tiles than 4, and it would score more. Eated, not good. Wow, it looks like there should be some 5-letter plays here. There is idiot as a 6. So I could get more points with diet, but I'm keeping AEE. That's 27. I'm going with E-Day for 24. I'm surely going to have an out with almost anything I draw. Does opponent have a bingo, though, that I should be blocking? Well, they have a Delgid. Well, do they have anything down from the T? No, I'm going with E-Day. I draw a G. Opponent could have a bingo here, but it's not going to be enough for them to win. Well, and they do. And the final score, 419 for opponent, 582 for me, a winning margin of 163 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what an extraordinary game. Very high scoring, nearly 600 points. So it was me to go first, and I play Honan, and I like that. Opponent with the blank, but no vowels. Plays Rax. Oh, wow. Ultra hot. C4 through the H. Wow, that's a shame to miss that. G3 tutorial, so there was... That is going over the top of Honan, very nice. Then there's Outlast, which I played, and there are 2 bingos, or 1 bingo through the O, outfloat. So there were options, but I'm delighted to have found a bingo, and the best was only 3 points better. Opponent still without vowels, but doesn't need one. Wow, a vowelless bingo, and I didn't spot that during game time, but a great spot. Queenie D1. Oh, wow. Yeah, that turns over 1 more tile than Queenie and leaves a better rack leave. So, always difficult to know when you should stop looking for a better play, but there was one available here. Opponent plays Pomo. I played Quickie. Quacky also playable for the same score, but I think the A goes better with the W than the I. Opponent plays Neef, and now this is it. I was about to play in scrolling when I saw Fatwaring, so thrilled to have spotted that, and that gave me a really good lead. Opponent plays Gov from this rack, keeping Pengs, that's nice. And I have Patterer and Pre-Treat. And Retreat also playable, A10. Wow, parallel to Outlast, that's nice. And Retreat through the I. Okay, so plenty of options available. Opponent back in the game with Epigons, but still trails by a couple of bingos. I have Janizar, nowhere for it. Thought about Tsar for 64. Went with Jar for 12 fewer points. And I like that. I think the Z is a much better tile than the J, and on this board there were a lot more opportunities for the Z, including Triazine in column 15. Opponent plays Ovoid. And now, just looking down here, the first play to play off the F and the Z is fees for only 36. So I do like my play of Fez for 30, given the particularities of this board. And what I mean by that is that there are plenty of bingo lanes, often with only 20 tiles or so left. The board is quite congested, so keeping a bingo-y rack isn't worthwhile, but in this case I think it was, keeping a bingo-y rack leave. So the best play, C3, Zine. Oh, well, just through that E, keeping the F. Oh well. And I think my play was also influenced by my huge lead. Even if I didn't bingo, opponent wasn't going to catch me. Or very unlikely to. Opponent plays Womb. And I do have a bingo in Brainia, so the Fez play did work out. Opponent plays B. Now 5 tiles left, nothing super hot available in terms of score. So I got 10 points less than the max, but again, maximising the rack leave, I think. Now opponent with shields. Nowhere for it. Plays SH. And no miss bingo here. I thought about diet for 27. But went with E-Day to maximise my chances of going out if opponent didn't bingo. But no such luck because they have Alley-Dades and it was their only bingo. And if I hadn't played in column 15, they would have had Dadles. So I don't think I could have stopped opponent from bingoing. And that was the end of the game. But what a game. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And I think this is one of those games where word power and bingos made a lot of the difference, as opposed to really significant short plays or strategic plays. Fatwaring, Quickie, Brainier, Pre-Treat, Outlast just blew opponent away, and not all games are like that, but they come along ever so often. But you do need to have the firepower to take advantage of it, and in this case I did. So super exciting stuff. Many thanks to opponent for a good battle, and I note that he did achieve over 400 points. But that was still a long way behind my nearly 600 score. So I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.